Hi guys. Today I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about perspective for characters. While you're reading, you will be wanting to consider the perspective of your character. And a character's perspective is basically it's a picture of how that character views the world. Their opinion on something is going to be part of their perspective. And different characters obviously have their own views on the world. Sometimes we barely know a character, but we need to be able to think about what their perspective is to know how they will react in a situation and how different characters will react to the same situation. So, what we're going to do today is I want to talk about multiple perspectives, and we're going to start by watching this little video short, which you might have seen before, but it's okay to rewatch things sometimes. So, here we go. Okay, based on what we've seen so far, I think it's pretty clear that this dude is stealing her cookies, and why is he doing that? Like he's even gone pretty far with it to reach over her arm and take them off of her lap. That is really bold. But he's sitting there smiling, so he doesn't even care. Like that is the perspective of the older lady. But that's what we're seeing right now as well as the audience. So let's just continue. All right. So now, after we realize that she had the cookies the entire time in her bag, and we see her like looking this kid up and down as she walks up to the bench, we realize that she didn't even give him a chance, and he was just trying to be nice. Like he broke his cookie in half and gave her half of the last cookie that she stole essentially, and she was awful to him. and they didn't even communicate because, of the headphones and the music. They were viewing the same event with vastly different ideas in their head. That happens in texts all the time. Okay. So what we want you to get used to doing is pay attention to the moments when characters display vastly different perspectives. Okay. Now, the way we'll do this is that we investigate the moments when people could have different viewpoints on the same event. And what we'll think about is, how do the characters feel about different moments? What is shaping the characters' perspectives in these moments? And how can you see the events through the different characters' eyes? Now, the text that we're reading right now is actually really cool in this way because we get to see the same events, the same 2-minute period of time through the eyes of 4 different characters, right? We have Claire, Autumn, Sylvia, and Tomas. And these characters, they might not all be in the same location, but we do see all of their different thoughts. 2 of them are in the same place, the others are in different places, but they're all at the same school right now. And it's all within the same minutes. So I was thinking about what is something that they are all viewing differently. And what is something that they all kind of talk about also. And the only thing that I thought about that just seemingly kept coming up with every single character is that all of them know and thought somehow about a different character called Tyler. So here is what I did. Okay, so on these Post-its, I have written down every moment that Tyler was mentioned in the entire text so far. Okay, now I have more positive ideas about Tyler are up here at the top, and some of the more negative ideas are down at the bottom. I also color coded. Um, I color coded these Post-its so that I could keep track of who was thinking what. Okay, so these uh, pink, I guess, pink colored Post-its are about Autumn's thoughts on Tyler. And Autumn, the first thing she thinks about is that he would be in her mind trying to make her realize that the future can be anything she wants. And that's really encouraging. I think it's super positive, so I put it really high up here in the positive section. Um, and Autumn's afraid to lose him, so she must really care about him. So I put that also pretty high up. But something more negative is that apparently something happened over the weekend to make Autumn not mind Tyler's absence from breakfast, okay? So that's kind of more negative. And I'm keeping track of multiple characters and what they think about him. So one character that seriously seems to have a lot of negative things to say about Tyler is Tomas. Like, for example, he broke into the principal's office to find Tyler's permanent record. So he was clearly pretty concerned about Tyler. He fought him once and he wanted to do it again. He thought it was possible that Tyler had a criminal record. That's pretty bad. I put it pretty low. It's a little like, who knows? This thing that happened at breakfast, it might, but like the weekend, maybe they got in a little fight. That's no big deal. Brothers and sisters argue sometimes. But this is a lot more serious down here. So I put it like further away from this line. I guess the further away from the neutral line is like further negative. All right. So Tyler could have a criminal record as far as Tomas is concerned. He remembered Tyler always having a look of contempt in his eyes, and that could be just Tomas's opinion, so I put it a little bit closer to the neutral line. Down here, Sylvia is like, she is scared for her safety of Tyler being at school that day. That's the most negative thing that I read this whole time. Like, she feels like she wouldn't be safe if he were there. Tyler was Claire's ex-boyfriend. I mean, they broke up for some reason, but she must have liked him at some point. So I put that in the positive category. Um, she didn't agree with him. There's just something she's thinking about. He said that, I don't know, it's not really positive or negative, but it's definitely not really super negative. She just didn't agree with him. Um, let's see. Oh, Tomas did think of him as harmless. I mean, that's hardly a negative thing to say. If he's harmless, he can't be that dangerous. He's not that big a deal, even though Silva's super worried about him, right? He's a C student. I mean, that's good. If you're able to get C's in all of your classes, you're understanding that's about average. That's good. And then apparently, this dude has a super high SAT score, like genius level for sure. So I've got positive ideas from different characters that I'm tracking and negative ideas from different characters that I'm tracking. And so far, Tyler hasn't even appeared in the story. So, since he's been mentioned so many different times and in both positive and negative ways, I think that Tyler is going to be someone who is going to be important moving forward in the story. He's someone I'm going to pay attention to, and I'm going to be expecting that these characters are going to have very different ideas about him, and that's going to continue as the story progresses. So, while I'm reading, I'm going to keep track of this. I'm going to keep watching for different moments where characters have different ideas, or maybe where characters reveal something new about Tyler that I didn't know before. Okay, let's see. Mostly what I was doing while I was thinking about all these different feelings the characters had about Tyler is I was thinking about what shapes the characters' perspectives. Okay. What is shaping their opinions? What events do they have opinions on? What have they experienced from this character? And how is it different from one another? I'm sort of comparing and contrasting how they view this one character. But I could have been talking about anything. This could be an event that happened and all these different people, how they see the same event. It could be something like stealing a cookie from one another. Like they are both thinking about the same event very differently, and I'm making some notes about it. What I want you to do tonight, while you are reading your independent reading book, I want you to make an effort to try and view different perspectives of your characters. How do they view events differently? How do their opinions on the world, how do they mismatch? How do some of them feel differently about how things should be handled, perhaps? Maybe you're not quite ready for this kind of work, and that's fine. I want you to think about it and see if you can do it. If you can't, no big deal. What I'm going to expect for your assignment for today is I want to see a notebook page, whatever notebook page you want to do. So I want you to think about the strategies that we've gone over so far. Maybe you're going to think about character traits of your characters. Maybe you are going to be able to think about perspectives. Maybe you're going to think about how some of those weird moments are fleshing out. Whatever you want to do, create a notebook page. You can either take a picture of it or you can do it online, but submit it to me for today's assignment. Let me know if you have any questions, guys. Thanks.